This video is a compilation of my reviews for the first 5 Wings of Fire graphic novels. Altogether, they form a story called the Dragonet Prophecy. I hope you enjoy seeing my thoughts on these books.
I'm a little nervous about reading the Wings of Fire graphic novels. Before I even started reading the book, a kid saw me holding it, and he gave me a 10-minute lecture on the different types of dragons, from his favorites to least favorites. I just nodded my head and pretended I knew what he was talking about. It was pretty awkward for me. But it is inspiring to see this series has such passionate fans. Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review. There is a prophecy about 5 dragons who will save the continent from a decades-long war. A group of dragons, led by Kestrel, collect 5 dragon eggs to fulfill the prophecy. They immediately run into trouble. One dragon's a rainwing, not a skywing, and the mudwing tries eating the other eggs. Rainwing, skywing? Oh, this is starting to sound like the Warriors series. I wonder if there's a thunder wing or a fire wing. 6 years later, the dragons are grown up and still living in the same cave. Our main character is Clay, the mudwing. Kestrel constantly bullies him for being weak. Clay is best friends with the other 4 dragons of prophecy. Sunny the Sandwing is childish and friendly. Starflight is studious and worries he can't read minds like other Nightwings can. Tsunami the Seawing is combative and thinks she's a princess. Glory the Rainwing is sarcastic and can change colors. That's an awesome power, which looks really cool in graphic novel format, but also made it hard to tell who the characters were. Many times I was confused about which character is which. I'm like, wait, that's Blue. She's the blue character, right? No, it was the purple character turning blue. The Dragonets act out the story of the Great War. Queen Oasis was unexpectedly killed by a human. Her 3 children have been fighting for the throne ever since. Burn commands Skywings and Mudwings. Blister commands Seawings. Blaze commands Sandwings. The Rainwings and Nightwings have remained neutral. So as you can tell, the book starts with a pretty large info dump. I'm sure fans of the book series could understand it just fine, but a lot of it went in one ear and out the other for me. I could not tell you any of the alliances for the life of me. An imposing dragon named Moroseer comes. He's the one who made the prophecy. Oh, is it Morrow? Because like tomorrow, because he can see the future? Yeah, it's probably Morrow. Well, Moroseer is not pleased with how the dragonets of destiny have turned out. Well, if he can see the future, then how does he not already know how they turn out? Anyway, he's violent with them. He chains up Sunny and Tsunami for reasons I didn't quite catch. And he leaves orders for Glory to be killed. The dragonets cannot let Glory die, so they make a plan to escape their cave. Clay and Tsunami are the ones who can swim for an extended time. They go through an underground river tunnel. They immediately run into trouble, in the form of a human and the Skywing Queen, Scarlet. Scarlet's curious when they don't recognize her, and she's itching for a battle. Tsunami stabs the queen with the human sword as a distraction, and they fly away. Tsunami needs to pick a better distraction next time because Queen Scarlet is easily able to gather her guards. She raids the cave. She captures the 5 dragonets of destiny, along with Kestrel. The majority of the book is part 2. It takes place in Queen Scarlet's kingdom. She has a giant gladiator arena where she forces dragons to fight to the death. Clay strikes up an unlikely friendship with Peril, the Queen's champion. Thanks to strange circumstances with her birth, Peril was born with twice as much fire as normal. She can't touch the other dragons without killing them. She's a virtual prisoner because she will die if she doesn't eat rocks that only the queen can provide. Queen Scarlet is amused when the dragonets stand up to her, and she forces Clay to fight an Icewing in the arena. Clay struggles because he's naturally non-violent. He's surprised when his opponent suddenly dies of a poison wound that Clay did not inflict. Peril helps nurse Clay's wounds. She returns later and asks Clay to help hide her so she can watch a secret trial. It's Kestrel's trial. Kestrel's backstory-loving lawyer reveals that Kestrel is Peril's mother. Queen Scarlet has been lying for years about those strange circumstances surrounding Peril's birth. Peril is furious. She interrupts the trial and invokes an old law about stand-in for fighters. Long story short, if Peril wins her next fight in the arena, Kestrel goes free. The dragonets are put into a special prison when Queen Byrne comes. Peril agrees to help them escape, but she has second thoughts when Clay insists on getting Sunny. It seems like Peril has a bit of a crush on Clay, and she doesn't like that he cares so much for other girls. I'm glad this information was spelled out for readers, because I didn't realize it on my own. I actually thought Peril was a boy dragon, until they started using female pronouns for her in this scene. The next day, our heroes are forced to fight in the arena. Tsunami kills a mad Sea Wing. Before Starflight gets a chance to fight, Marrowseer appears and takes him away. The last battle is Clay against Peril. Peril is extra angry with Clay as they argue out their issues. The fight comes to an abrupt halt when Glory spits out poison and kills Queen Scarlet. Everyone is surprised to learn Glory can do that. The dragonets rescue Sunny. Peril says there's no point in rescuing Kestrel too, but Clay disagrees. He wants to be the kind of hero who would save Kestrel, no matter how bad she is. Part 3 is the shortest part of the book, 20 pages about. The dragons go to the Mud Kingdom and find Clay's family. His mother is more concerned with food than with him. His younger siblings are much nicer. They explain that with Mudwing litters, the firstborn is always the biggest. Their job is to protect the others. Clay is happy in his role as the protector of the 5 dragonets. In the dramatic epilogue, Marrowseer reveals he gave secret orders to Starflight, which will manipulate the prophecy in favor of Queen Blister. Blister murders Kestrel. The end. Post-book follow-up. This was a pretty good book, although part 1 was unavoidably confusing with all the backstory and similar-looking dragons. Part 2 was much easier to follow, because it's mostly Clay dealing with one dragon at a time. Because he's never been outside his cave before, a lot of things are new to him and they need to be explained. That works well for readers, because readers are also completely new to this world of dragons. Part 3 felt a little unnecessary since it doesn't further the story, but it's nice to see Clay get a happy ending. It's emotionally satisfying. There's a fair amount of violence in this book, which includes some blood. I'm told it is less violent than the original book. They make a point of not killing humans in this version. Our main character, Clay, mostly avoids participating in the violence. Both of his duels to the death are interrupted before he's forced to kill someone. There are 5 dragonets of destiny, but Queen Scarlet only forces 3 of them to fight in the arena. She keeps Sunny and Glory in separate special prisons. I'm not sure why. I'm also not sure about the timeline. It feels like there were prisoners for weeks, but maybe it was only 2 days. Overall, I like the graphic novel. The pictures are nice, Clay is an interesting main character, and this would probably make for a great TV series. I look forward to reading the next graphic novel. I give Wings of Fire #1, The Dragonet Prophecy, an 8 out of 10.
The last book focused on Clay, the Mudwing. The other 4 dragonets were prisoners, so they weren't around much. In this book, the main character is Tsunami, the lost Sea Wing princess. The other 4 dragonets are prisoners, so they're not around much. I'm starting to sense a pattern here. Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review. The other major reason Tsunami is by herself in this book is that the others can't breathe underwater like she can. Tsunami dives in the ocean. The first Sea Wing she meets is a sneaky but cute guy named Riptide. He takes Tsunami and the other dragonets to the palace. Fortunately, Tsunami has very distinct scales that prove she's a member of the royal family. Queen Coral is overjoyed Tsunami has returned. She tells her brother to take care of the other dragonets, which in this case means they're chained to the floor of a cave that will flood tomorrow. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Tsunami is surprised to learn she has a 1-year-old sister named Anemone. Queen Coral uses a harness to make sure Anemone is always close to her side. Anemone hates it. She feels like she's been a prisoner her whole life. Anemone has a tutor named Whirlpool. This snobby jerk spends most of his time kissing Queen Coral's butt and complimenting her scrolls. Coral says he'll be a great king someday. Coral, you shouldn't let someone marry into your family just because he likes your fanfics. No, seriously, it sounds like Queen Coral writes fanfics about her life, then forces all the Sea Wings to read them. One story's about Tsunami's egg being stolen by Webs. Another's about Princess Orca. As soon as Orca was old enough, she challenged her mother to a duel to the death for the throne. Queen Coral won, and it's clear she'll go to some lengths to make sure another daughter doesn't try to replace her. At a council meeting, the Sea Wings learn Queen Scarlet and Kestrel were killed in the last book. Queen Coral's greatly concerned with the fate of a Sea Wing named Gil. He's the mad dragon Tsunami killed in the arena. She's shocked to learn he was her father. Dun dun dun. Sea Wings can communicate silently by lighting up their scales in certain patterns. This language is called aquatic. Whirlpool gives Tsunami a worthless lesson on speaking aquatic. She gets a real lesson from Riptide. He's so nice, she can't dislike him for the fact that he's the son of Webs, the egg thief. The book becomes a murder mystery when somebody tries to kill Tsunami in a dark tunnel. Even worse, someone destroys one of the 2 royal eggs. Who's trying to kill members of the royal family? Pretty much everyone is a suspect. When Tsunami learns her friends were put in a drowning prison, she rescues them before they die. Queen Coral is uninterested in their near-death experience. Queen Blister arrives the next day. She's fairly condescending. She treats the dragonets like clever babies. She reveals that Anemone is their secret weapon. Anemone is an animus, meaning she has magic powers. She can make objects move with her mind. Anemone worries if she uses her powers too much, she'll go mad. Webs returns to the palace. Queen Coral wants to kill him immediately. Queen Blister manipulates the situation so she can learn the secret location of the Talons of Peace. Back with the murder mystery, Tsunami insists on guarding the last royal egg. In a surprise, she learns the culprit is the dead Princess Orca. Orca also had magic powers. She enchanted the statue in the royal hatchery to kill Queen Coral's children. Tsunami has a dangerous battle with the statue. Fortunately, the statue can't leave the room. Once Tsunami and the newly hatched princess go through the exit, they're safe. Tsunami and the other dragonets decide it's time for them to leave. Queens Coral and Blister don't want that to happen. They want the dragonets to give them the victory in the war. So they throw the dragonets in jail. Again. Anemone visits them. Sadly, she refuses to join the dragonets on their epic quest. Peril did the same thing in the last book. Why do all the cool characters stay out of the club? Anemone uses her magic to determine who tried to kill Tsunami. It's Whirlpool! He wanted Tsunami dead because she posed a threat to his plans to becoming king. Glory jokes, I don't want to marry you, is definitely on her list of reasons why someone would try to kill Tsunami. Anemone hits Whirlpool. He falls into a pit of electric eels and dies. The dragons escape their watery prison while the eels are temporarily disabled. I guess the author felt a jailbreak wasn't an exciting enough ending because the Skywing army attacks and there's a giant battle. Our heroes escape with Webs, who's badly injured by poison. In the dramatic epilogue, Marosier reveals there's a second group of 5 dragonets. They'll be used to kill and replace all the dragonets that the villains don't like. Which is most of them. The end. Post-book follow-up. The first time I read this book, I was so confused. half the characters are blue or green sea wings with water names. It's difficult to tell them apart. I kept asking who people were and who they were talking about. Outside of Anemone, Whirlpool, and Riptide, the others were mostly a blur. It doesn't help that many of the characters only appear once. Fortunately, the story made a lot more sense to me the second time around. I'd say the book definitely needs a list of characters complete with pictures. That would be a major help. I think it would also help if the book had chapters, instead of being divided into 3 parts of about 60 pages each. I liked most of the stuff with Tsunami in this book. The parts with her friends weren't as good, because the dragonets are forced to confront the awkward truth they don't have any idea what they're supposed to do. Yes, they're on an epic quest to end the war, but there is no plan at all. The entire book is about them visiting the Sea Kingdom. Even that had no purpose behind it besides Tsunami wanted to go. Overall, I liked it less than the previous one because I had to reread it to make sense of the characters. I'm still invested in this world and I want to see what happens next. I just hope there's not a quiz at the end. I give Wings of Fire graphic novel number 2, The Lost Heir, a 7 out of 10. Webbs was poisoned at the end of the last book, which sets up the story for this book. Our heroes must get Webbs some help at the nearest safe location, which is the Rainforest Kingdom. Oddly enough, the map says the Mud Kingdom is closer.
Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review.
The Rainwings welcome Glory with open wings and give her a tour. She learns about tree gliding, fruit gathering, and how they always nap in the sun. She even gets a pet sloth. She's a little concerned no one seems to care her egg was stolen 6 years ago. It's explained all Rainwing eggs are kept in a communal hatchery. Dragons can tell if they're related through their venom. Glory tries it out with her new acquaintances and learns Jambu is her brother. The Dragonets ask to meet with the Rainwing Queen. The tribe has 5 queens who trade off every month. They're all fairly useless, but Queen Magnificent is extra useless. She can't remember something that happened yesterday. Don't worry, there are plenty of human politicians that are the same way. A Rainwing named Mangrove says his partner Orchid has gone missing. That makes 12 dragons who have disappeared this year. The Queen refuses to do anything because it's too much effort. And besides, it's probably the work of a rainforest monster. Glory says, no, they should investigate, make a list of missing dragons, search for clues, that sort of thing. The Queen says Glory seems to know what she's doing, so she's given the job. I had a boss who did the exact same thing whenever someone made a suggestion. You want to change something? That's your job now, not mine. Glory explores the area where Orchid disappeared. Thanks to Starflight's superior sense of smell, they're able to locate a suspicious cave nearby. It's not a cave, it's a magic portal that warps them all the way to the other side of the continent. I wish we had those in real life. The 5 dragonets, Mangrove and Jambu, debate what to do. Mangrove takes the decision away from them by running off on his own. They're basically forced to give chase if they want to see him alive again. The only place he could have gone is Queen Blaze's hideout. Glory disguises herself as an Icewing and scouts the area. She meets a Nightwing named Deathbringer, who's here on a secret mission. He strongly implies he has to kill the Dragonets of Destiny. Deathbringer might be an assassin, but he's also the captain of the Flirt Squad. He acts like he's so handsome and wonderful. No woman can resist his handsomeness. I normally dislike that kind of guy in real life, but it seems like he's legitimately interested in Glory. Plus, he's just so charming. Glory and Jambu enter Blaze's fortress, where they find Mangrove easily enough. They find a pair of humans that the dragons are keeping for food. They think humans are cute, and when they leave, they purposely set the humans free. I don't know about you, but I suspect a human wrote this book, not a dragon. The rumors of Queen Blaze's stupidity were not exaggerated. She cares more about parties than about the war, and she constantly reminds people how popular and awesome she is. I'm pretty sure the only reason she's lasted so long is that she's stuck under house arrest here, while Ice Queen Glacier runs the war effort in her place. The book puts everything on hold for a moment to introduce the backstory of Smolder, the brother of the three queens. He had a forbidden romance, which his mother disapproved of. The graphic novel is so unsubtle about shoehorning Smolder into the story that I am sure one of the dragonets must be his secret child. Glory takes Queen Blaze to meet the other dragonets. She continues to be dopey, saying she should be queen because she's prettier and nicer and friendlier than her sisters. She's not wrong, but that's mainly because her sisters are awful. Deathbringer suddenly attacks Queen Blaze with a weapon that looks like CDs. Even in a fight to the death, Deathbringer finds time to be charming. He says he was ordered to kill 2 specific dragonets, but he likes Glory too much to kill her. He hopes to spare her life by killing Queen Blaze in her place. Luckily, a well-timed Icewing patrol arrives, which lets everybody escape alive. Our heroes return to the rainforest, and its monster mystery. Deathbringer interrupts, because he just can't stay away from Glory. They easily capture him and tie him up. Glory makes the terrible decision to use herself as live bait to find the rainforest monster. The monster turns out to be Nightwings. All year they've been kidnapping Rainwings and taking them prisoner. It's suggested this is part of a scientific experiment on Rainwing venom, or maybe Nightwings just like being evil kidnappers. Even though Glory is heavily chained, she has more fighting spirit than the rest of the Rainwings. When her muzzle's removed so she can eat, she manages to disable most of her guards. A talkative young Rainwing named Kinkajou helps disable the remaining guard. Only 5 guards to protect 2 underage dragons? It's like they don't consider Glory a threat. Deathbringer arrives with Clay to rescue Glory. I find it funny when she says she doesn't need rescuing. She's busy rescuing herself right now. Clay takes Glory and Kinkajou back to the rainforest through another portal. Glory undoes her bindings and declares she's going to rescue the captives with an army of Rainwings. Probably in the next book. In the final third of this book, Glory challenges the Rainwing Queen for the throne. She learns Rainwings don't do duels to the death. They do competitions. Glory gets some training from her friends, and Queen Scarlet appears in a dream. Apparently, Queen Scarlet is being held captive somewhere. She must be pretty desperate if she's coming to Glory for help. The other queens insist on joining the competition. It will have 5 parts, 1 for each queen. Glory picks 4 Rainwing friends to be on her team. Even if they weren't a ragtag team of Rainwings, the odds would be against them. The queens cheat. The one queen picks a treetop race because she has sloths ready to drop a net on her competitor. Another queen picks fruit gathering because she hid a secret fruit stash in advance. If the queens put as much effort into ruling as they did into cheating, the kingdom would be happy. The final competition is venom shooting with the oldest queen. An accidental venom injury leads to the revelation that Glory is related to Queen Grandeur. Queen Grandeur is happy she's finally found a worthy successor among her descendants. Now she can get rid of the whole 6 queens circus. She forfeits the competition, making Glory the new permanent queen. Glory is happy that she's proven herself, and she's done something important, even though most dragons think she's a mistake, not part of the prophecy. In the dramatic cliffhanger, Starflight has disappeared. His secret replacement sees 2 dragons in the distance. I have no idea who they are. The picture is too small. The end. Post-book follow-up. This is my favorite book of the series so far. I think it's because it's so bright and colorful. The tropical setting is great, and it's extra colorful because the dragons change colors regularly. I have no idea how closely the artist and colorist work together. It looks like the artist made the extra effort to draw the characters in such a way that you can easily tell who a character is, no matter what color they are. That's much better than last book, where I could not tell the characters apart because they were all look-alike dragons in one of two colors. The story is good too. I like learning about the Rainwing Kingdom. Meeting Queen Blaze was interesting, and Deathbringer is great. I don't have any major complaints. I'm sure some people will think it's derivative, since the two previous books also featured the dragonets visiting a new kingdom where they're held captive, they meet one of the three queens, and the main character gets a love interest while learning more about their family. I give Wings of Fire graphic novel number 3, The Hidden Kingdom, a 10 out of 10. Starflight has been kidnapped and taken to the secret Nightwing home. It's a fiery volcano island where dragons survive by eating dead animals. It's so evil-coded, they might as well change the name to Evil Wing Island. It's obvious these guys are the villains.
Argofont book review, Argofont book review.
When Starflight complains about bacteria in the food, Marosier decides he must be the son of Mastermind, a Nightwing scientist. In Dragon World, being a nerd is genetic. Mastermind is the one who's researching Rainwing venom. He doesn't care why, and he doesn't care that the Rainwings are being tortured in the process. Starflight is horrified his dad is such a monster. Starflight meets a talkative girl named Fate Seeker. She's friendly, makes silly prophecies, and I'm pretty sure she has a crush on Starflight. The problem is that she and Starflight were born on the same day. Either one of them could be the Nightwing in the Dragonets of Destiny. Marosier doesn't know which one of them is in the prophecy. He can't decide between them because he hates them both. Marosier complains the prophecy is in major jeopardy. The Nightwings made a big mistake when they let all of the possible Dragonets of Destiny be raised by total strangers outside of the tribe. I have to agree. It was really stupid of them to let strangers raise the most important dragons of all time. It's also stupid for Marosier to expect the kids to grow up to be exactly the way he expected them to. That never happens in real life. His other dumb mistake is expecting Starflight to fulfill all of their top secret plans without being told what they are. Like Starflight's dragged to a war council meeting to give his report on the Rainwing tribe, only he doesn't have a report ready because no one ever told him to make one. Marosier complains Starflight is the worst spy ever. And no, he's not. Marosier is just terrible at giving spy instructions. Starflight meets the 5 alternate Dragonets of Destiny. Marosier says their first test is to kill Starflight. Starflight escapes death by hiding in the Rainwing prisons. The guards let him go through, but when the others appear and scream about orders to kill Nightwings, not so much. Marosier's next test is to convince a group of Skywing soldiers to change loyalties. It's a mission that's doomed for failure, so it's no surprise when it doesn't work. Starflight proves his identity by talking about the time he killed a bunch of humans. This confused me so much, I had to look it up. Apparently, he's talking about a scene which was in the books, but not in the graphic novels. For all the people like me who haven't read the books, it's a pretty nasty way to learn our main character has been a human killer all along. Squid the Seawing declares he doesn't want to be part of the prophecy anymore. Marosier cruelly abandons Squid here, in the middle of unknown enemy territory. We're told he won't last a day. I'm not sure why, I can see the ocean right there. Can't he just swim to safety? Fateseeker and Starflight find a secret tunnel leading to Queen Battlewinner's secret room. Queen Battlewinner lives inside of a lava pool. That's because she has Icewing Frost inside of her throat. She will die if she leaves the lava. The illustrations for her are pretty darn cool. Marosier's next lesson is battle training. He has the Dragonets try to kill each other. And really, that's the same as his first lesson. Marosier is a lazy teacher who reuses lesson plans. When one student dies, it leads to the revelation that the alternate dragonets of destiny are all fakes. Not a single one of them was born on the correct hatching date. The Nightwings are planning to invade the rainforest. Starflight and Fateseeker go to the rainforest to warn the Rainwings. Starflight is happily reunited with his friends. Everybody argues over what to do next. They purposely ignore Sunny, which is pretty mean. Do Sunny's friends secretly hate her or something? With Clay's help, Sunny gets everyone's attention. Her plan is for the Rainwings to use their large supply of sleeping darts. They'll knock out all the Nightwing guards and rescue the prisoners. It's a good plan, which works perfectly. Before leaving, Starflight confesses he loves Sunny. He didn't want to die without her knowing that. She tells him to stop. Oh my gosh, stop talking. That's definitely how you do not want your crush to respond when you confess your feelings. I love you. Just stop talking, okay? Glory confronts the Nightwing Royals. They make a compromise. The Nightwings can live in the rainforest if they accept Glory as their new queen. Princess Greatness accepts the offer. Queen Battlewinter doesn't. She's so furious, she leaves the lava pit and dies in seconds. The volcano starts rumbling. It's about to erupt. Everyone rushes to escape through the tunnel in time. In the dramatic ending, Marosier reveals the Dragonet prophecy is fake. He made up the whole thing as part of a plot for the Nightwings to take over the rainforest. That sounds like his stupidest plan yet. If you're worried your home could be destroyed by a volcano any second, you don't make a plan to leave in 7 years. You make a plan to leave right away. There are so many better prophecies that could have been made if the only goal was to find a new territory. How are they able to convince everyone in the world that this particular prophecy is true? Was there a backup plan if the war ended on its own before the Dragonets grew up? This entire book is about the Nightwings planning to invade the rainforest. Why wasn't that their first plan instead of a fake long-term prophecy? If they did their invasion any time before Glory first came to the rainforest, it probably would have worked. Lava floods the area, Marosier is killed, and Starflight falls unconscious as Clay drags him to safety. At least that's what the scene looks like. I was quite surprised when I read the 6th book of the series, which says Starflight is permanently blinded here. The end. Post-book follow-up. This graphic novel has the same problem as Book 2. We've got a bunch of characters that all look the same, and I can't tell them apart. Well, except for Mastermind. He has glasses, so I can recognize him. The story's a little hard to follow because too many unrelated things are happening. It feels like they struggled to include as much as possible in this book without going over the page limit. They managed to squeeze in a bit more story by eliminating all scene transitions, which makes it harder to understand things. I think the book would flow better if it removed one of the unnecessary stories, like finding the Dream Visitor or the minor exploration of the island. I would have preferred more focus on the alternate Dragonets of Destiny. I can't even tell you any of their names, that's how unimportant they are. They're not in the next book either, so it's sort of a waste of a good story. Since Fateseeker's the only one that matters, maybe she should have been the only alternate. Like, say the story of the book is that Marosier just learned Fateseeker exists, and now he's testing Starflight and Fateseeker to see which one of them is worthy of being in the prophecy. That could have worked. Remember in Book 1 when Marosier took Starflight away for a while? I think about half of this book should have happened then. Book 4 of 5 is not the ideal place to be introducing a lot of new stuff to the series. Overall, I guess I didn't like the book. I had so many complaints about it. I wouldn't say it's so bad it's worth skipping entirely. It's just nowhere near as good as the previous one. A large part of that is because Starflight and the Nightwings aren't as interesting as Glory and the Rainwings. I give Wings of Fire graphic novel number 5, The Dark Secret, a 3 out of 10. Every book in this series has featured a new main character. Today, it's Sunny. A downside to this setup is that Sunny hasn't said or done anything important in the first 4 books. All of her content was being saved for this book. And so we spend most of the book with a character we don't really know, while ignoring the 4 characters we do know well. Specifically, it's 150 pages of Sunny, before the other dragonets appear. That's over half the book. Sunny is not being a team player.
Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review.
Sunny is very upset to hear the dragonet prophecy is fake. She spent her whole life believing that's the only thing which makes her important. Without the prophecy, she's just a weird-looking sandwing. Sunny is taken hostage by a trio of Nightwings, led by Fierce Teeth. She is Starflight's half-sister. I'm sorry, but there was no mention of Starflight having a sister in the last graphic novel. This seems like a major detail for them to leave out of the book. Of course, they also left out the fact that Starflight was blinded in the last book. He appears a few times here when Sunny thinks about all her friends. His eyes are perfectly fine in those pictures. Also when he appears in the epilogue. That's another reason I didn't know he's blind. He is shown with uninjured eyes several times in this book. For his other appearances in this book, though, he wears a leaf as a blindfold. The Nightwings have a magic artifact, which lets you spy on other people. They use it to see that Sunny's friends don't really care about her. Ouch. They think she's flighty and unserious. They don't really care that she's missing. Oh man, her friends are mean. Sunny escapes the Nightwings, then doubles back and starts following them. By lucky coincidence, they pass through the human village where half of the stolen treasure is. In an even luckier coincidence, the Nightwings go to Scorpion Den, the desert village where Sunny's egg was found. Scorpion Den is run by a group of outlaws, led by Thorn. She has a major obsession with Nightwings, and she's furious to hear Marrowseer is dead. As it turns out, Thorn is Sunny's mother. Unlike most of the parents in this series, she's a good mother. She spent the last 6 years trying to find her stolen daughter. She throws a big party for Sunny, and haha, nope. Sunny is quickly kidnapped by a rogue and sent to Queen Byrne's stronghold. Is Sunny wearing a sign that says, "Please kidnap me," or something? Why does this keep happening to her? Prince Smolder is in charge at the moment. He has a dry sense of humor and constantly cracks jokes. I can't tell if he likes Sunny or if he's bored without anyone else to talk to. His main job is babysitting the captive Queen Scarlet, and she makes for terrible company. Smolder's pet human is one of the 3 humans that killed Queen Oasis and stole all of the dragon treasure. Sunny agrees with Smolder. There was too much treasure for humans to carry. Some of it must have been stolen by a dragon, who took advantage of the chaos. They disagree on who could have taken the extra treasure. Smolder insists it couldn't have been one of his sisters, because that would end the war. This leads Sunny to realize the magical Eye of Onyx is related to the royal family. That is, only the true Sandwing Queen can hold it. Thorn shows up with soldiers to rescue Sunny. At the same time, Peril from Book 1's lurking around, hoping to rescue Queen Scarlet. Peril's so strong she easily defeats all of the soldiers by herself. Prince Smolder says he has an old letter for Thorn. It's from Sunny's father, a Nightwing animus named Stonemover. He's the one who built the 2 magic portals in the rainforest. The letters say he's waiting for Thorn on Jade Mountain. Sunny meets him on her way home. The poor guy has been cursed by his magic. He's slowly turning into stone. He hasn't moved in years. Prince Smolder locks Thorn and Sunny inside the library. It's not very effective because the door is made of wood. Sunny uses her fire to burn off the door handle, and they safely escape. Sunny visits the human village with the treasure. By drawing pictures in the ground, she's able to show them that she wants the treasure. While they do have some things, they don't have the magical Eye of Onyx. Sunny returns to the rainforest and finally reunites with her friends. Everyone argues over what to do next. Sunny takes charge and says they'll end the war peacefully. The first step is to get everyone together at the Sandwing Palace. They have to split up into 3 groups to send a message to all 3 queens. I enjoyed this section because it gave Clay and Tsunami a chance to shine. They were mostly ignored in books 3 and 4. It's nice to see them get one last moment in the spotlight. The plan works. Everyone shows up at the Sandwing Palace. Blister tries to kill Burn with a box that has a deadly viper inside. It's a double cross. There are 2 vipers inside. One viper kills Burn, the other bites Clay, but he doesn't die. Pearl's able to save his life by burning away the venom. There's a cutesy moment where Clay thinks Pearl is the Wings of Fire, but she thinks his big heart is the Wings of Fire. I say the real Wings of Fire are the friends we made along the way. Smolder's pet human tells the dragons to dig up Queen Oasis's grave. Inside the queen's mouth is the rest of the missing treasure, including the magical Eye of Onyx. It looks like Wings of Fire. Instead of giving the eye to one of the queens, Sunny declares her mother Thorn is the new Sandwing Queen. Blister is furious. She confesses she's the one who killed Queen Oasis 20 years ago. She tries to take the magical Eye of Onyx. It shoots out lightning and kills Blister, proving to everyone that Thorn is the true queen. Now the war is finally over, and everyone can live in peace. Assuming that the villains like Queen Scarlet and Fierce Teeth will be nice and not cause any drama. The Dragonets decide to build a school, which will be the main location of the next book. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book is pretty good. Sunny is not my favorite character, and yes, it's another story where the main character is captured while meeting their parents, but I still found it enjoyable. We didn't really see much of the Sand Kingdom in previous books. It's nice to get a proper introduction to it here. Wonder why we had a new kingdom in every book, except for the Ice Kingdom. That one got left out. This works as a Sunny book and as a grand finale to the Wings of Fire series. I was hoping for a finale that gives equal time to all 5 dragonets, but this is fine. I'll assume the original book gives more closure to all the characters, but this graphic novel doesn't, because it has a limited number of pages. I do think it's kind of a cheat to introduce the magical Eye of Onyx in the last book. An all-powerful artifact that instantly ends the war. Why wasn't this mentioned sooner? I wasn't a fan when Harry Potter sort of did the same thing in its last book. I'm a little confused about why the human dug up the magical Eye of Onyx when she did. She could have gotten it at any time in the last 20 years. Why did she wait until the most dramatic moment possible? Could it be that she understands dragon language and she can read the writing on the queen's tomb? Overall, I'd recommend it. It's a good conclusion to the series. It's definitely better than the previous book. It has some problems, but they're not major. I'm sad the story of the 5 dragonets ends here, because I want to see more of their adventures. I give Wings of Fire graphic novel number 5, The Brightest Night, an 8 out of 10.